Howdy, everybody. It's old Cody over here. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast. This time we're on the road, and as always, I have my co-host with me right here, Mr. Rodeo historian himself, Jimbo Snively. Hey, Jimbo, what's going on, and who do we got today, and where are we at?
Hey, Cody, we're just outside Henrietta, Oklahoma, and we're talking to Marvin Shoulders, great bull rider of the 70s, 4 times national finalist. 1973, he rode 9 bulls in a row and almost made the whistle on the 10th bull, and won the average. Just a great bull rider, and he was the son of Jim Shoulders, 16 times world champion cowboy, and a member of every Hall of Fame you can imagine. Marvin just went into the Bull Riders Hall of Fame last year. And we're just tickled this room here with all this memorabilia. It's just unbelievable. I feel like we're in hollow ground here. Just you hear so much about Jim Shoulders, you know, and Marvin. And Marvin, we just appreciate you letting us come down and visit with you.
Enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it.
Well, Marvin, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. We're so happy to have you. You know, I was looking around this room a while ago, Jimbo, and I spotted it over here. They got the Holy Grail of Rodeo here.
Absolutely.
They have the Holy Grail of Rodeo here. They have the first back number from the first NFR, number 1, from number 1 here.
I know it. We were trying to think of something that would top that as far as rodeo memorabilia goes, and we couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah, you at first said top 5, and I said, what's better?
I know.
What's the other 4 in that top 5?
And I couldn't name a single one. Maybe somebody out there can come up with something better, but I don't know what it'd be.
Yeah, let us know if you think something better than the very first back number from the very first NFR. Number 1, Jim Shoulders is one of the best cowboys of all time.
My NFR buckle from 73.
That's number 1?
Yeah, that's number 1.
Well, I'm going to have to say that's a pretty big one too, Jimbo, because...
No, I'm teasing.
We know.
Oh, no, I'm not. You know why? Because he did equal the record at the NFR that year.
Absolutely.
9 out of 9 bulls, just bucked off his 10th one only.
Barely.
And the record right then was 9 bulls.
Right.
So that's a pretty historic belt buckle itself.
Right, it really is.
It is. You're not giving yourself enough credit on that one, Marvin.
I remember as a kid watching it on the sports every night. They'd give us an update. Marvin Paul rode his 6th bull, his 7th bull in a row, and they were building up to that number 10. And just fate had it, and he just barely didn't make the whistle.
What happened on that number 10? Let's just get started.
Oh, one mistake, and that's all it takes. But at least it was on the Bull of the Year, a bull that we had kind of raised and sold to Mike Servey, and he was everybody's favorite ranked bucking bull back in those days. And he won, so that's hats off to him.
Well, rodeo's a very humbling sport a lot of times. Right when you think you're on top of the world, it comes crashing down on you.
No. You just cuss yourself for doing something stupid or messing up. No. Heck, it's a fun game to play.
What was that bull's name?
General Ismo.
General
Ismo.
General Ismo. I didn't figure you'd
how he
forget that
got
one.
named that, I do not know. But he came from us, and that's...
Did y'all raise him, or did you trade for him?
I think we bought him with a set of bulls that were 2-year-olds and started him.
He must have been a bucking dude. Bull of the year.
Really?
Yeah. Fuck you off.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yeah, he had to be.
Did you feed him good when you got him home, or did you hold him off feed there too?
Well, we sold him.
So I don't blame you. I'd have sold him too.
Yeah, Mike Servey owned him when he bucked me off.
Okay.
I was making Mike feel good.
Right.
What about your dad? Who was his rodeo mentor, or was he his own rodeo mentor growing up?
His older brother, Uncle Marvin, was rodeoing and started him at a pretty young age. And I guess it did not take long for him to get good at the game, because since he was, I don't know, 18, 19 years old, he went to winning world championships. So
he really didn't have a cowboy background, did he, at all?
No, not really. Just his older brother.
I mean, he lived there in Tulsa and went to high school, East Central or something, I think.
Yeah, he went to East Central, and he started his older brother, and then that got him started, and he took off.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, I guess he was the best there's ever been, right?
I was thinking coming out here, Cody, if you were going, somebody was going to make a Mount Rushmore for rodeo.
I've been thinking the same thing.
Two guys that come to my mind that are no-brainers, and I'm talking about Jim Shoulders and Casey Tibbs, and then you can just fill in, you can argue over the other two.
Oh, I don't know. Who do you think it'd be, Marvin?
That right there would be at the time rodeo started getting in the public eye. And those were the two names of world's champions that everybody knew their name.
They were mainstream, weren't they? I mean, everybody mainstream knew them.
They brought pro rodeo into everybody's
living room or whatever,
Right.
Yeah. Everybody knew who they were.
What about Ty Murray? Can we throw him on that Mount Rushmore?
Well, you put him on there. Who do you leave off? I mean, you got to leave Larry Mahan off, or you got to have time to guy in there.
Got to put Trevor Brazil on.
Well, if you're counting buckles, you definitely do. But if you're counting just mainstream popularity at their peak,
generation to generation,
right.
And the way the public, the following, those Dad and Casey, they got the following. From the outside part of not just cowboys.
They were more mainstream than Trevor Brazil, in my opinion, at their peak.
But then records are made to be broken.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been broken.
Right.
Those guys started it, and these guys that you just named have they have kept going with it.
Right, yeah. But nobody could, as far as I'm concerned, nobody could match Jim Shoulders and Casey Tibbs' popularity at their peak.
Well, Casey Tibbs, he was the cover of Life magazine. The cover, that's as big as Rolling Stone nowadays.
Or bigger, because you didn't have TV and you didn't have all the other magazines. You didn't have social media. That's where everybody got their entertainment news. Their
Life magazine was Facebook back then.
Yeah, that was as big as it got.
Period.
So that's a good debate, but you got to have Jim Shoulders and Casey Tibbs first ballot.
I'm with you.
I'll go for that.
And you can argue the other two, but I'm not even going to argue the first two.
We can throw Jake and Clay up there, or anybody really.
Yeah. There's an argument to be made for half a dozen other guys, but there's no argument to be made between Jim Shoulders and Casey Tibbs, as far as I'm concerned.
Let's throw Ike Root on there.
Okay.
Let's throw Ike Root on this deal. I like the idea of that.
Okay.
What about Bob Crosby? Can we put him on there? He was a heck of a cowboy. We got to get his permission.
Back in those days, and let's see, and then a little bit later, for somebody's name that everybody knew and cheered for, Freckles Brown.
Yeah.
There we go.
I know.
This Mount Rushmore is going to be big.
Well, it's only you can only have 4 though.
Oh,
that's the deal. That's what's tough about it.
We got 2. We got 3 of the 4.
No, we got 2. We haven't decided on the 3rd and 4th yet.
Me and Marvin voted for Freckles.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't hear you vote.
Well, my vote ain't near as big as yours and his, but I mean Freckles, it gets pretty big right there. Tornado, Freckles.
Right.
Yeah,
that's another pretty big holy grail.
For what he did for the sport.
Right.
And not just talent-wise, just what he did for the sport.
Were you there that night?
Yes, I was.
Tell us about it.
I was looking over the front slide gate in front of Tornado. When he pulled his rope, they opened the gate. He made the bull ride, and Dad was standing in the arena, and he was the first one that went to hug him because how it was perfect for both of them's career. Both of them, it made both of them really famous.
How old was Freckles that night? Do you remember? 40?
I think he was 22 or 49 or something.
Yeah, I think it's 49. That's unreal for a bull rider.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't hear very many bull riders past
No.
29, much
Yeah.
less 49.
Yeah, you're so beat up when you get to 30, you know. Tough.
It's a rough game.
Yep, I'd say so.
That was a big, big moment in rodeo history that night.
Yes, it was.
They wrote songs about it.
Yeah, and Dad had always said it. Man, he was so happy that they rode that famous bull at the NFR, and it was Freckles Brown that did it instead of some unknown kid or somewhere getting lucky at some small rodeo. But that was on the biggest stage, the biggest bull ride, and that, like I say, it catapulted both of their fame even higher.
How'd y'all come about Tornado?
I came in with a load of bulls that Dad and Neil Gay, which they were partners at Mesquite Rodeo when it started. They started Mesquite Rodeo, and he came in with a load of bulls that they were getting from Mr. John Williams from down South Texas, Garwood, Texas, and then Tornado. He made his own name. He built it himself, being such an athletic bull. Back in those days, unrideable, and but he came from South Texas.
How many trips did that bull have before Freckles rode him?
I can't remember. I think that line's in the song. 200. I don't even remember now how many outs he had before he had been ridden, but it was a lot. No matter how rank a bull is, sometimes they might have an off day, stumble or something, have deep dirt, mud or something, and or somebody gets lucky and rides him. But for a bull to go that long unridden, and that's quite a career.
Did y'all have any calves out of him?
No. Turned him out on some cows, but we never did get any bull calves out of him.
That's about right.
Yeah. When did your dad get into the bucking bull business?
Started, well, about the year when they started Mesquite and Rodeo in 50, whatever year that was.
Yeah.
And then went out on his own. Okay, Mesquite was on, and Dad started a rodeo company and kept it through the 80s.
Whatever happened to Tornado?
He lived his last peaceful years out here at the ranch, and old age finally got him, which Father Time wins.
Did y'all keep hauling him after Freckles rode him, or did you turn him out after that?
I think he went to a couple more rodeos afterwards, after that year. Maybe that next summer he went to some rodeos. And,
Did anybody else ever ride him after that?
yeah. I think he was ridden a couple of times.
Did you ever ride him in the practice pen out here?
No, but I was a kid. I sat on him in the chute. Played like I did.
Yeah. Well, what are your earliest memories of following your dad around to the rodeos?
My whole life, pretty much, when I was a kid, and all those guys through the 1950s, the cowboys, rodeo cowboys, I kind of knew them because back in them days I could be back there behind the chutes with Dad, and I got to be friends with, they was nice to me.
Right.
A little kid running around there aggravating everybody.
Right.
And it was my whole life.
Do you know?
I grew up doing it.
Did you know Harry Tompkins, I guess?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which he had a daughter same age and a son a couple of years younger. And when I was really, that one year I got serious about really traveling hard, bought a plane. Harry's son was an airplane pilot, and he was my whatever you call that. I was getting my license flying that plane, so he flew us around, and I was getting my hours in. Mark Tompkins, and we had a good time. I'm getting my hours in. We're traveling in a nice plane, and so yeah, we've been really good friends.
When you fly in somewhere, how'd you get to the rodeo?
Well, a lot of those smaller rodeos, they either have a car there, they'll let you drive, or whoever. If it's one of them littler ones, that the guy running the airport would run you to the rodeo and then come back and pick you up.
Pretty good deal.
Did you ever have any scary times up there in the sky with a bunch of cowboys flying some planes around?
No, not really. I don't know. I pulled some prank on Mark, the pilot, and the next morning I wasn't feeling too good there. We had to leave pretty early, and we were flying along there, and I opened a Copenhagen can, was going to get a little chew out, and he dipped the airplane, and the chew hit me in the eyes, it burnt, and he said, that's for last night. Whatever prank I pulled on him last night, and I promised him right then, no way, partner, I am not pulling any more pranks on you.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to prank the pilot, would you?
Yeah, no.
No.
You do not do that, but I was a young kid, and I didn't think that far ahead.
Speaking of rodeo pranks, what's the best one you ever heard of you can tell us that you were involved in? Maybe it happened to you.
Well, no, I was perfect. Nothing ever happened to me.
Yeah, we were talking about the letter buck room earlier today, and I told Peg I've heard of it.
Right.
Didn't know anything about it. Just heard tales of it.
Let's see, and actually, one of them was four of us in a pickup and camper, and stopped to get gas or something, going on an all-night drive, and one of the guys that was in the back of the camper asleep, we went in there to get a soda pop and a candy bar and stuff, and we came back out, we load up and we take off, and we get, I don't know, 150 miles down the road. And I think it was my old partner, Leander Fry.
Hey, Leander.
Cajun from down there.
Yeah, I know him.
Wasn't in the back. He'd got out to go to the bathroom, and we run off and left him. He was barefooted because he was asleep back there. We pull up. Oh heck, we left him. We went back there. He's sitting on the curb in front of that truck stop or gas station. He's sitting on the curb there, and he hadn't been rodeoing very much. He's a long ways from Louisiana.
I'll tell you a good one on Leander. He became a rodeo judge later in life. I don't even know what he's up to now. I haven't talked to him in years, but I think we were in Pecos or somewhere, and he was the judge down there, and he was walking through this gate that was stuck, and he couldn't get it open, and he went to it and he shook it. And then he shook it about 3 times. And then I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He took and kicked it with both feet, and they went through the gate, and he went laying on the ground. And the whole rest of that year, they would, when he would come in the arena, they would play that song. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Them cats were fast as lightning for Leander, because it seemed like he was doing all the bad company rodeos there for a couple of years.
There was so many stories. Could just remember parts of them. That stuff happened. That you see stuff happen that you think you've seen everywhere after you've played the game for several years or quite a few years, and then somewhere you'll see something happen that you could not even imagine. That's the way the world goes, I guess.
Did you ride around with your dad when you were a kid to all those rodeos he traveled to? Or a big part of them?
Some, and a lot of them. Mom and my older sister and I would get. We might make a few rodeos, and then we would come back home, and of course he would stay on the road, and so. But yeah, I was at a lot of rodeos, and some of them old stock contractors I got to be friends with, and especially during the bull riding. They always had the special stand, a lot of them did. Lynn Butler and some of those guys, and I'd get to sit up there with them on the back of the chutes at Fort Worth or Casper, Cheyenne, or something. And I'd get to sit up there with them to watch the bull riding. And so it was a privileged life.
You know, one time I got to sit by Harry Vold during the bronc ride. He was sitting up there on the top of the bucking chutes. He wasn't on his horse in the arena for some reason. And I never seen a man so happy just to see bucking horses in all my life. Every one of them, he just would smile, laugh, comment, and it was really something else. Had to be about the same with those guys watching their stock,
yes,
I would assume.
It was. Yeah, if no matter if it's a ride, a high score, or the horse or bull wins the contest, if they performed well, those guys were happy, and that's the breed of people they are. That if the animal performs like he's supposed to, it makes you happy.
What I remember about Harry that day is he's wearing his spurs. He was sitting up, and the happier he got, the louder his spurs started rattling because his feet were going 90 miles an hour right there, sitting on the fence.
Oh yeah, those contractor guys are. It's like watching their kids play or compete. Yeah, they're really cheering for them.
That's really something. I remember when I was a little kid, not a little kid, maybe, I don't know, 14 years old. I was working for him there, stripping roping chutes and stuff like that. Just a little old kid untying calves, whatever it took to be around that stuff.
Those guys were, well, which early on, it was common sense kind of told you wanted to be friends with the stock contractor guys, the flank men, and the guys that work for them. You want to be on their good side. If you got a rewrite or something, they could help you on whatever the rewrite might be, or if they were bringing the good one back or something like that. And the flank men, you just want to be on the good side of those guys, and pretty much all of them were good guys. They were easy to be friends with, and after a couple of years, you got to be really good friends with. The contractor guys and flank men and the guys that run their rodeo part, and that was just actually common sense looking back on it. But I enjoyed going so many of them rodeos to visit with those guys as much as the guys I traveled with visiting as you go down the road.
Did you ever ride to Madison Square with him or anything like that?
I think maybe when I was a kid, there's pictures of Mom and I in the grandstands at the old Madison Square, and I was lucky enough I won the last one at New York. I won the last Madison Square Garden rodeo.
When was that? Because me and Jimbo was talking about it on the way down here a while ago.
77, I don't know, 75, I can't remember.
I thought they had one in the 90s, one.
Well, they might, and I'm not sure if that was at the old building or what, I don't know.
Probably not. You won the last one at the old building. You know that. You know that.
How old were you when you first started getting on bulls, Marvin?
Well, I was lucky that Dad had the riding schools, rodeo schools,
sure.
And we always had the beginner bulls, practice bulls and stuff there, and I was probably 13, 14.
Did he encourage you to ride bulls?
It's just whatever I
Whatever you want to
do and stuff there, and so, and I was pretty careful about it. It was the little Herefords that hopped around a little bit, and then I kind of worked my way up and stuff. But I got to graduate, and I was never pushed into. Every now and then I got thinking, I think I can ride that one there, and then he'd throw me off pretty hard. And well, wait a minute, I'll practice a little bit more.
How'd you handle the pressure of being Jim Shoulders' son?
Actually, it was a lot easier because at the time I started really rodeoing, I knew so many of those guys from our rodeos and growing up in it, and we were already friends. And it wasn't like I'm trying to impress anybody. I'm trying to stay on this bull, and which is probably the pretty much same attitude Pete, Donnie, and Bobby Steiner had.
Yeah.
That we knew all those guys. We were friends, so we didn't have that pressure of I've added pressure.
Right.
It was just okay. I need to ride this bull. There wasn't anything else added to it.
No, he was proud of his dad. He didn't feel like he had to beat him. Beat him.
Yeah, but
I couldn't beat him. I knew I couldn't beat him, but I just tried to do hard there so he'd be proud if he'd be there watching or something, or wasn't there, just in case somebody told him, well, at least he got bucked off, he was trying or something.
Right. Yeah.
It's really hard to beat your dad at anything, really. Jim.
Well, and nobody's going to live up to Jim Shoulders. I just wondered how tough that was, to be Jim Shoulders' son.
Well, like I say, this sport, and I took the lane that, man, I was so proud, but it really didn't put any more pressure on me, because all I wanted to do was play the game good enough that my peers, the guys I looked up to that was rodeoing then, knew that I was trying, and I either. Sometimes you get bucked off, or sometimes you make good bull rides, and you earn your way, and that's what it was.
Did you ride any broncs?
Well, yeah. I rode bareback horses in high school, and I enjoyed that a little bit. Won the state high school finals, and then actually won the national high school finals in the bareback riding one year. But saddle broncs that one year, that looked so easy, those guys riding them, and that looked. So I tried that for a year, and the state high school finals I won second, and then I got on a few after that. Tuning up for the national high school finals that year, and I had one or two of them, a little better horses. Of course, we had the perfect practice horses out here at the ranch for the schools and stuff that I got bucked off a couple of times, and that hurt. It wasn't like getting bucked off a bull. That first thing it hit would be my nose or something there, and so I did not even enter the national high school finals that last year that I'd made it into bronc riding, and it's probably a good thing because I ended up winning the bareback riding and the bull riding and the all around, and probably the first bronc would have killed me. So I just got on a few of them. I did like, and then I pro rodeoed first couple of years at smaller rodeos and had a little bit of luck in the bareback riding, winning money, and but sometimes that would go wrong, and I was riding bulls good enough that and I had trouble pulling groin muscles riding bareback horses, and I wanted to make finals in the bull riding, so I pretty much just quit getting on bareback horses. So I like riding bulls. That's what I was going to do.
Hey, was it hard to be a competing cowboy and own a rodeo, be a part of the rodeo company at the same time? Did you have to do a lot of work and right up until the bull riding a lot of times? Because I had to do that with the steer roping.
Yes, sometimes there and kind of be wore out, but heck, when you're that age, you can handle that.
Yeah,
you can handle that there. And if you get bucked off as well, I was dadgum working stock, moving panels, this and that, or something like that, you had a built-in excuse.
You probably needed a little bit of the edge knocked off.
Well, it wasn't, but you made a mistake or you just got bucked off. But I had a built-in excuse. Oh man, we had set some panels up, and I was over there working stock and stuff there, and got pretty hot. But no, that was no excuse. But you could tell your partners that.
Yeah.
Marvin, who did you think was the best bull rider you ever saw with your own eyes?
Well, of course, I have to say Dad.
Right. I mean, after him, when you were...
From the get-go, but one of the guys, and it's hard to judge something like that, Ronnie Bowman was, like I say, that I got started out with, that so much talent. He didn't travel very much, but whatever bull, a lot of guys there that I traveled with, rodeoed with, had talent. Jim Sharp later on was pretty impressive to watch. He started after I had quit, but I saw him enough in person, and it'd be hard to lump them into the top 20 guys or something that for talent and everything. It'd be hard to even narrow it down to 20 or something.
And different bulls, different times, and just
right.
And Jim Sharp, he was pretty special bull rider. Wasn't he the first one to ride all 10 at the finals?
I think so.
I think he was.
But well, there's guys even before that and after that, but that was always one name that came to mind. That, like I say, it'd be hard for me to narrow it down to 20 guys.
He had an awful long career too. He rode longer than most folks that Jim Sharp did. But anyway, I thought he was a spectacular bull rider. And another one right here in town you have is old Terry Don West.
Oh, well, for riding rank ass
might be
bulls,
the best one I've ever seen
for
my own
riding
eyes.
rank ass bulls that besides us being friends and always cheered for later on any of them kids from Oklahoma, if they played the game pretty good there, I got to cheer for them. But for his style was different. But man, if they had one, stock contractors had one, they said no, he can't be rode. Terry Don could ride him, and he did. And like I say, we've been friends for a long time, and I enjoyed cheering for him. But yeah, if you wanted rank bull road, Popoff's contractor, run him under Terry Don, he'll stick it on him.
Yeah. That's no joke. We've seen him do it many a time. One of the highest riding percentages in rodeo history right there. Terry Don West. I don't know. Jim Sharp, Terry Don, Jim Shoulders.
Donnie Gay. I mean, like you said, it's hard to narrow it down to even 20.
It is
really.
hard.
You could. It'd be hard.
That Adriano Moraes fella. I don't know him from nothing, but I remember he was a bull riding son of a gun.
Watching him, and you go on into the PBR guys and there's one now.
Well, he rode 10 at the finals.
Yeah, that one from
Adriano.
One
time.
If I had a list in front of me there, I couldn't narrow it down to 20 because, golly, there have been some really great ones.
Sure.
Well, if you play that game and it doesn't take long, or you get your name known there, you're pretty good.
Yeah, it's really something else. I've never been around the rough stock end of the arena that much, but I've always admired those guys down there for sure, Jimbo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I always wanted to be a rodeo clown's what I wanted to be growing up. I hung out with old Quell Dobbs quite a bit.
Oh, he was
when I was a kid.
All those. Well, besides the contractors, flank men, and
Leon Coffey,
and those guys, you wanted to be friends with the bullfighters, the clowns. If you played the bull riding game, you wanted to be friends with those guys right there because they saved your life. And there was lots of those were as close to friends as guys traveled with.
Oh, I imagine. You relied quite a bit on those fellers.
Oh, well, heck yeah. You'd go out there either to the clown room or their trailer, wherever they were getting ready for the rodeo or something, and visit with them because you wanted to be friends with those guys. Especially if you had one of them old hook-ass bulls.
Yeah, I imagine. Did you ever have to fill in for a rodeo clown in all your years of having the...
Right.
Well, heck, I thought guys might have showed up somewhere at a rodeo and your guy didn't show up.
Early on, one of the riding schools or something there, and one of them kids fall off, that bull might be, and I'd run by and play like I was a rodeo clown, and then I had one chase me, and that scared me so bad that no way, no, you're on your own, kid. No, you're on your own. And
I'll tell you how they cured me of that, this whole rodeo bullfighter. I didn't want to be a bullfighter. I wanted to be more of the rodeo clown part of it, but my dad cured me of it real quick one day, Jimbo. He had all these Scottish Highlander bulls that he was practicing roping on because they were cheap. But they were mean, very mean. So he had me get one of my mom's barrel racing barrels out there and get out in the middle of our arena, which is, 400 long, 300 wide, big arena. And sand was this deep. In the summertime, it was that deep. And... yeah, we lived right off the Arkansas River.
See how that's going.
Yeah.
That's fixing to go.
He said, son, get your rodeo clown stuff on, get on out there and get by that barrel, and let's see how this stuff's going to go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, he got one of them old I was going to say roping steers, but Scottish Highlander bulls mad by jacking with him out there, then turned him out on me. Cured me of my fascination of wanting to be a rodeo clown.
Well, he knew he needed to cure you of it.
It either put me on the right path or cure me of it. Cured me. Actually, it got so bad me wanting to be a rodeo clown. There was a rodeo clown that was living with us at the time. You're not going to believe this when I tell you he was living with us at the time. His name was Buddy Heaton. He just got out of prison. And he moved in with my grandpa.
Were you running the halfway house or what?
He was in the halfway house, and then when he got out, he moved in with my grandparents.
Okay.
And he went and got me his old clown barrel.
And he was famous back in the days. He worked like
and
Cheyenne, and he worked some big rodeos. But that's when I was a kid, and I heard stories about. Besides in the arena and outside the arena, that he was Buddy Heaton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he flew a plane through the middle of the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, and then he went to prison for he stole the IRS's calling. Remember when you used to have calling cards? You have to go to payphone, put in the calling card so you could call home. He stole the IRS's calling card number. You know, he's charging all of his telephone calls to the IRS, and got caught, thrown in federal prison for that. He should have been in prison for quite a few other things, I would assume, but he did.
Back in them days, that's just being another guy, I guess, or something.
Well, was your dad one of the first ones to do the endorsement deal?
Actually, yes. With Wranglers in 47 or whatever year whenever he started with them and stayed with them his entire life, and they stayed with Mom, and shortly thereafter he was with Justin Boots for all those years.
I read that deal he had with Wrangler was the longest running endorsement by any athlete of any sport.
Yeah.
In history. Period.
Yeah, it was, and like I say, from either whenever, heck, I'm getting old, I can't remember, but it was either 47 or 40, maybe 49, somewhere, when he signed on with the Wrangler people. And I was a little kid, and I remember going back east and spending the night with, I can't remember that guy's name that was head of Wranglers, and we spent a couple of nights at their house. First time I ever saw a color TV.
Yeah.
But he was Mr. Wrangler, and shortly thereafter, he and John Justin got to be really good friends, and he endorsed Justin Boots for his entire life.
How did he get into those beer commercials with Billy Martin?
I'm not sure how that came about when they were putting those commercials together, but they were going over so good, and they worked out fantastic for him. That appearances and doing the commercials, and he said most all those retired athletes, most of them were a lot of fun guys to hang out with when they do a 3 or 4 day shoot or something. He said it was a good time, and there was a bunch of good people that he enjoyed it.
Yeah, those were mainstream commercials. They didn't just play them during the rodeo. I mean, they played them during the football games, Super Bowl, or whatever, though. Jim Shoulders, everybody knew who Jim Shoulders was.
What about the bull y'all had? Buford T. Light.
Buford T. Light, he got more famous than pretty much most of the sports athletes that were in the commercials. And he wasn't, I don't think he was ever in a commercial, but for him, Dad would take him making appearances to events, bars, stuff, and could lead that bull through anywhere, and he could take that bull for a 2 or 3 day trip on some appearance and make 3 times what we'd be putting a rodeo on, a PRCA rodeo on, with 4 loads of bucking stock. But what a gift that was from the good Lord, or however Dad ended up with him, and he was smart enough to figure that out, to turn that into everything.
Not everybody knows who Buford T. Light was. Can you give us just a little, tell us what he looked like, and tell us exactly what he was, because a lot of our audience, they're not rodeo cowboys or anything. So
okay, he was a beautiful made, great gray straight Bramer bull, the big hump, flat horns stick out, and his disposition was like the gentlest big dog you've ever had, that would be around people and like it. He could lead him through a crowded room, and that bull could walk through there and it was almost like, excuse me, I'm coming through. and he was just once in a lifetime animal or something. But for a Bramer bull, a straight gray, big hump, kind of wide horned Bramer bull, to be that considerate and kind, like a big dog, gentle dog would be around a lot of people, that it was amazing.
You know, even gentle dogs don't like certain people, though.
This bull liked everybody.
He liked everybody.
He liked everybody. Excuse me, I'm coming through. If they weren't paying attention or something, and anybody, little kids, anybody, they could step up on him and get their pictures made, and he'd stand there. He would stand there however long, and it didn't bother him. He enjoyed it. He just enjoyed being around people. Afterwards, he got fed good, and he lived a great life. But it's amazing what his attitude was.
So they take him inside of bars.
Oh, yeah.
They take him inside of elevators. They take him in
trucks. It's hollering and screaming, noise, music and stuff. You could probably not find hardly any gentle saddle horses that you could lead into those places. But that bull just walked in there, hey, what's going on?
He ain't the bull they used on Blazing Saddles that Mongo rode, is he?
No.
Some relation to him somehow, though. Had to be.
Well, he was a Bramer.
Yeah, they were all Bramers.
Had a hump.
You remember that I was trying to think of a guy's name from down there today, Jimbo?
Right.
Leon Adams. He used to Roman ride them Bramer bulls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the name.
And then his wife would come in and do the end of the trail scene.
Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky. Leon and Vicky Adams.
Yeah, they were fantastic acts. And Leon's Roman riding bull acts, Bramer bull acts, was the top PRCA for several years for acts.
Makes you wonder if your dad didn't do some swapping with him.
Well, no, I've led his bulls in arenas. We were friends, good friends, but they had a ring in their nose, and they had a little rope through there to lead him up the alleyway to go in the arena and turn him loose and let him start his act. And that was more dangerous sometimes than when I'd go down there and get on my bucking bull in the bull riding contest, because they were so ready to go. They'd run over you. They'd run over you. But when they got in the arena, they knew their job. But no, they wasn't near as gentle as old Buford was. Of course, Buford would never run that fast like his did.
What'd Buford weigh?
Probably about 1,750.
He looked like a big one.
He is full-grown Bramer bull. He's big.
His hump was that tall, it looked like.
Yeah, big hump. He was a straight gray Bramer.
Some of them gray Bramers are pretty gentle.
They're either gentle or mean, aren't they?
Yeah, and a lot of them are really mean.
Yeah. And
a lot of them start out gentle, but something might kind of make them angry, and you can't trust them because they might take a swipe at you.
Yeah. I've seen cows and heifers that you could just lead them anywhere with a sack of feed,
Well, yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, we bought you ever heard of a Zebu bull?
Oh, yeah.
Miniature Bramer bull, perfect miniature Bramer bull, about this tall, Jimbo.
Right.
Had the hump and all. Well, he was broke to ride and gentle. Mm-hmm. We bought him at the horse sale on the alley before they sold him in the sale that night. And as long as you're on him or petting him or looking at him, this little dude was perfectly gentle. But the very, very second he caught you not looking at him, he'd do away with you. Take you out. Mean booger. Meanest little bull I've ever seen in my life.
And that's part of those, because I've seen quite a few of them little zebu bramers that Terry Don uses has used quite a few of them over there at his school for those kids to get on, and most of them they're real gentle. They kind of run around circles or hop around a little bit and stuff there, but you can't trust them. You cannot trust them.
Well, my grandpa, he was a little overweight. He was kind of a big fella. He smoked cigarettes. He chewed snuff. He chewed loose leaf tobacco, and sometimes he might have them cigars with the little plastic tips on them. Most addicted man to nicotine I've ever seen in my life. Period. If he could get nicotine from it, he was smoking it or chewing it. He was out there checking the waters one day when we were gone, and we had a water tank in the middle of this big old pen where the zebu was, the miniature bull. And he turned his back on him, and he rolled my grandpa from one end of that pen to the other, and he had a trail of cigarettes and snuff cans and Red Man and whatever else it was, all the way to the gate.
It just kept rolling.
All the way to rolled him under the gate.
Yeah.
About killed him. Every single square inch of his body was bruised that day. And he's the one that bought him on the alley, so it was all his own fault. But anyway, that's the best story I got on our little broke to ride Bramer bull.
Marvin, right behind us here, there's a good picture of you doing an ad for Wrangler jeans. How'd you get into that?
Well, through Dad.
Yeah.
Through Dad. There's some other pictures there when my older sister and I were kids. We were in some of the ads, and then later on, after I started rodeoing, I got to do a few ads with them and stuff, and with Dad, and then a few on my own and stuff there. So
that's a cool picture there, isn't it?
Wranglers.
Yeah, I noticed you're still kind of.
Yeah, they're the first family of rodeo, Jimbo.
Right. Yep.
His mom was a great person who went around to different rodeos and ambassador for rodeo. Are you guys going to take up any of that ambassadorship that your family's always had?
Not like she did. Those last several years after Dad had passed away, it didn't take long that friends or somebody would ask about Mom, and I'd tell them, I said, Dad got pretty famous, and he knew he had lots of friends, but I'm pretty sure Mom's already passed him on being both more famous and having more friends, because in all walks of life, not just rodeo, that what all she went on and did with rodeo and life in general, that Mom passed him, I think, a few years ago there. Yeah, she got to be more famous and have more friends than Dad did. I'm very proud of my folks who were my best friends. Golly, I am so blessed, so lucky.
Cody, did you see the tribute they did to his mom down at the American last year? I've never seen anything like that for a rodeo cowboy, much less a wife.
Like I say,
she's the first lady.
She got to.
Were you down there?
No, I saw it on TV.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, she got to be more famous and have more friends, and probably did as much for rodeo as Dad did them.
Right.
Like I say, I am so proud of my parents, my best friends, and my world.
Right, you should be.
Who were your dad's traveling partners back in the day?
Oh, it's same as now. Some of them, like Harry, Jack Bushbaum, Billy Hand. I don't know, heck, I can't even remember the guys I traveled with, but all those guys, it was same world. All them guys were friends, and okay, who needs to ride to this next rodeo, and some you travel with most of the year, and you have to. Okay, they don't get out, and especially back in those days, didn't have that many rodeos that traded out, so you couldn't get up. So it was who needs to go to the next rodeo, this one or that one or this one, and who's heading there, and that's who you loaded up with, or they loaded up with you back in them days.
What was the first rodeo you ever entered, Marvin?
Let's see, it was a open rodeo at Okemah, Oklahoma, right down the road there. And a good friend of Dad's put on open rodeos, Leon Frakes. He had to stop, put the rodeo on, and that was the first one I entered. I'd been kind of riding the practice bulls here at the riding schools and at our arena, and okay, let me try this. So I entered that, and I got there early because, I'm a kid. But I knew Leon because he and Dad had been friends since they were kids. And what's this bull number, whatever his number was, 17 or whatever.
He knows it's 17.
Whatever this bull is, which, and I do remember he's a pretty big red bull with horns and stuff there. And I asked Leon there, like I say, because we were friends, Leon, what's this 17 or whatever his number is there? And he said, you'll like him, he'll fit you just right. So I turn around and I go back out to my car to get my stuff and get ready, and then I get thinking, well, Leon hadn't been down there. He's never even, I don't think he's ever seen me on a bull. How does he know that? So I wasn't sure, but he was just a nice old kind of practice bull there. That he didn't kill me. I rode him, and so that was the first rodeo I went to or entered.
And you rode him.
Yeah.
That's saying something right there.
Yeah. Even if I didn't, by now I would tell you I did.
Yeah.
Well, enough years passed, you can embellish them stories.
Oh, yes, sir.
What was your favorite rodeo to go to? The one you wanted at most?
There were several rodeos that I had good luck at, but, well, of course, the NFR.
Sure.
The grand entry and everything.
Right.
Oh, heck, was hard to beat Cheyenne.
Right. That's a daddy.
The daddy just being at Cheyenne was couldn't wait to get there.
Right, I bet.
How'd you end up there a few times? Your best placing at Cheyenne. Did you win it?
No, I didn't win it. Well, that picture right there was a win and go around on a red 7 there, and the second bull I should have won the second go around on, and it was raining, and my hand came out of the rope about 6 seconds, and that cost me winning Cheyenne, and placed a few other times, but no, I did not win Cheyenne.
What's the last bull you ever rode?
Poto, Oklahoma. Big old yellow bull there, and it's just another rodeo we were going to, and I rode him, and when I stepped off, the tail of my rope somehow wrapped around my hand or something, and I stepped off on my feet. He had turned back. He was spinning away that way, and it kind of pulled me back around. And when his feet came down, and he stepped on my knee and leg and messed my knee up and messed my leg up pretty bad there. So that was the last one, and then besides that, he chased clowns up to the chutes and stuff, and I'm laying out there, and my legs hanging sideways, and I know this is a bad deal, and and he's a big old Charolais cross bull with horns come around in front like that. And of course, I should have been out of the arena by then. The clowns did their work. He turned around, and here he came. And I felt like I was on a train track looking at a train coming at me. He hit me, and yeah, okay, the knee and leg operation and stuff. And then it was 4 or 5 days later after I got off the pain meds enough there and traction and stuff there, and I was supposed to kind of pick my back up there from laying flat on my back for that many days there. And dadgum, something ain't right. Something's hurting my ribs. They got to look and I had a big old bruise on my ribs stuff there. They took me down there. He broke 2 ribs too when he hit me. So, yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah, that's a good one to quit on, I'd say.
Yeah. That was the last one.
Did you go to work mainly for the rodeo company and here at the ranch after that?
Oh yeah, we started running cows and we had rodeo company going, and then I was picking up broncs at rodeos there for several years in between our ranching and our rodeo stuff there. Worked a lot of Neil's, and then Donnie Gay's, Rafter G. Neil, and Dell Hall, and Surveys, rodeos. I'd pick up broncs at a lot of rodeos. I enjoyed that.
So you still pretty much stayed gone rodeoing even after that?
Every couple of weeks, or for a weekend or so, but we stayed pretty busy ranching and rodeoing and stuff. We still had rodeo stock and running quite a few cows, and so I'd come home, keep busy.
What about the rodeo they have here now that's named after your dad? Is it Living Legends Rodeo?
Legends. Yeah, Jim Shoulders Living Legends. And last couple of years they went PRCA, and which is Labor Day weekend, that's the last weekend or last month there for circuit points to count, and it's a nice rodeo, and those guys chasing points for the NFR or chasing points for the circuit finals, they've turned that into a really nice rodeo.
Yeah, getting down to that time of year, you're liable to get
all the
guys on the bubble, the guys that are winning the world, you're going to get them all. Everybody
chasing
that wants to chase them points.
Make the finals or make the NFR or make the circuit finals or circuit championship deals. Yeah, it gets serious right there, and boy, they get a lot of good cowboys, and that Kevin Hampton's got top end stock that he brings. So it's a really, and Labor Day's always been a big deal at Henrietta for some reason. The celebration, carnival, and parades and stuff going on, and it's a really neat rodeo.
Everybody needs to get down here to watch it. Sounds like, Jimbo.
Sounds like it, sure enough.
I'd like to come.
Yep.
Heck, we might come.
We might ride a bull. You want to?
I will if you will.
You can be a clown, and I'll just watch you clown.
Both of those are bad ideas. We'll sit over there and visit and talk about how we used to do it. We're not going to do it.
How we could have did it if it was us, maybe.
Right.
God, look what I could have done on this one. I'd have just dared it. Look at
back when they used to buck, like them old timers from the 30s and 40s.
I never even entered a sheep riding in my life.
No, you weren't a mutton buster?
No, never mutton busted. Ellie, my daughter, mutton busting year-end champion.
Wow.
She's the rough stock rider of the family.
Yeah.
Ellie. She's a mutton busting dude.
That'd have been too embarrassing. That'd been too embarrassing. Go out there and fall off sheep for me there. No. And then I'd have cried like a little, well, little girls don't even cry. But I'd have cried there. Oh, no, I fell off. It hurt something. I'm glad they didn't have that when I was a kid. Calf riding at Cheyenne one year there took that out of me. I bucked off one of them calves when I had the calf riding on the racetrack a long time ago when I was a kid, and he kicked me in knocked both front teeth out. Yeah, that took the calf riding out of me.
Did you ever enter the junior bareback riding at Cheyenne? I've heard a lot of stories about it.
It started way after that.
Way after that?
I just entered the bull riding.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. That's the funnest event if you're going to be a rodeo guy. You go to the bull riding. All the girls want the bull riders. It's the last event. They're the rock stars of the rodeo, pretty much. Rodeo performance, Jimbo.
Yeah, but they're so crippled up, girls.
Well, no. If you stay on, you don't get crippled.
You don't even feel any pain.
But
don't you notice if they get bucked off, they limp out, and then once they ride them, they can walk out like nothing happened.
Even if they ride, they limp out.
Oh, do they?
So, yeah, okay, look, sympathy.
I quit paying attention after they get bucked off or ride them, I guess. Don't watch them walk out that much. Well, Jimbo, you got anything else for Marvin?
Well, just like to thank him for letting us come down today, and gosh, just to look around in this room, it's just a unbelievable collection of memorabilia. That number one from Dallas, that's probably the number one rodeo memorabilia that I know of. It's just a treat just to see it. And
it's kind of what we felt like they're going up there through Pawhuska, the Cowboy Museum. Is that what it's called now?
Just
the Ben Johnson.
Right now it's the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum.
The Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum there, that if you grew up in this world and get to walk through, and because pretty much all those names and pictures and those guys were people, some of them I knew, but pretty much all of them I've heard of and knew who they were. That's pretty neat.
Well, we got you here, and we're talking about that first back number. What do you remember from that first NFR?
Being a kid there in '59, let's see, I was 8 years old, and I remember back there playing around back there behind and stuff there. Go watch the bareback riding and maybe the bronc riding, and for certain get up there and watch the bull riding. And being I was there, the 10th bull, and it was a 5-day rodeo. They got on, 10 perfs, 5 days. They got on
2 a day.
2 a day, which Dad was in the bareback riding, so he's getting on a bareback horse, a bull, and in the afternoon performance, and then that night. So by that last couple of last couple of days there, his hand calluses had pulled loose, and his hand was sore from the bull rope and the bareback rigging and stuff. But what was the 10th bull that came down to him and Bob Wagner to win the world, because they was close enough. Bob Wagner had Dad's bull Mohammed, and he bucked him off, and I think they call that bull Tiger, a big brindle bull and I don't even know whose bull that was, that Dad rode him and when he stepped off, and that, it wasn't like it is nowadays. When he stepped off, he throwed his hat, and that didn't happen back in them days. He rode him, and yeah, that was a good bull ride. Okay, and then years later on, seeing because that's on film from some TV deal or something, and watching that back years later on, and it was on TV, and they showed it back in slow motion. And we were up there at Mom and Dad's house there, sitting there, and watching that back. And I told Dad, I said, you know what? That was a damn good bull ride. That bull was pretty rank.
Yeah, he did throw his hat.
You expected it when you're a kid because that's what he did. But looking back after all these years and all the bull rides and stuff you see, that right there was pretty special. That 1959 10th gold bull ride he made, that was a pretty rank bull he rode. And being that sore and everything, to step off him, throw his hat to win the World's Championship deal there, that was a bull ride that would be a bull ride nowadays. That was back then. They rode some bucking bulls, and that was one of them that was. But I said, you know what? I knew that was a bull ride, but that was a bull ride.
You know, and I've seen that film of him throwing his hat, and I thought to myself, I didn't know they threw their hat back then.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They were more refined back then.
Oh, yeah.
But for him to do that, it must have been. It was important to him winning that championship and making a heck of a ride for him to throw his hat.
That was that last championship.
Because they just didn't do that back then.
But if you watch that bull ride back there, that wasn't just some bull turned back and spun or something. That bull had a lot of moves to him and was kicking way over his head. That was a rank bull.
Right.
Nowadays, that would have been a 90-something point bull ride.
Even today, yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, I'd seen it and I knew it, but just sitting there really breaking it down there years later on there, and that it was impressive.
Yep.
You know that Bob Wagner, Osage County boy.
Yeah.
And
Ponca
also
City,
we had but on the Osage County side, he would just lived a little bit east of Ponca City. And then Buck LeGrand, the first rodeo clown for the first NFR. Also another Osage County guy.
And probably the toughest guy that took more hookings, rollings, and pain than anybody, and get up laughing about it. And I remember him since I was a kid there at rodeos there fighting bulls and stuff there. But he was still working when I started going pro rodeos. And yeah, if you saw him out there, it didn't matter how mean that bull was. You was getting on. It didn't matter. Buck's out there. He'll take care of it.
Did you go help out with the NFR when it was in Los Angeles? Were you out there?
No, I didn't go out there then. No.
Did your dad go that year? Obviously, he had to have.
Yeah.
64.
64. And that might have been his last year. They had it 2 years.
63 and 4, I think, but don't hold me to it.
I don't know if he made it. If he went both years or just, I know he went 1 year when he was in Los Angeles, but he had slowed down. They were rodeoing. Mesquite was going, and his rodeo company, and he didn't rodeo very much, but he made the finals, and I know at least once out there at Los Angeles, but I didn't go. That's too far. Yeah, like me going out there now.
Hey, what'd you think about that 97.5 point bull ride the other day?
It was worth it. It was worth it. I thought that
guy spurred the ever living heck out of that bull, didn't he?
That was a rank bull. That was a good one.
Well, Marvin, before we wind up here, we always try to ask someone a good question.
Uh-oh.
So we don't always ask someone a question, but this is a question that I've been thinking about for you for a while, because you're one of the only people that can honestly answer this question, I feel like. Because you were in the family from the inception of pretty much pro rodeo, and you guys are still involved with it all the way to today. So what do you think, how do you feel the way rodeo is going now? What do you think about the path that it's on? Oh,
it's maybe on the best path it's ever been on, partially because the Cowboy Channel, and getting a fan base everywhere, making new rodeo fans if they watch it. And there's enough money in it now to make those make it worth it. It's a rough game, but if a kid wants to play it, works at it, has a little talent, you can make a nice living playing this game, the rodeo game, and it's entertainment. It comes across good on TV or especially in person. If you're sitting there in the grandstands, it's like I say, there's enough money in it now there for it to be serious, and it is entertainment. It is entertainment to watch, because there's a wreck fixing to happen.
Well, I think it's on a good path too. I think it's on a good path. It's serious business now.
Yeah,
these guys are serious professional athletes. It seems like now, and they're taking it
and they better
steps more serious.
They better be, because it's a serious game. But it pays enough. It pays enough for them to pay attention to their business and their work ethics, and in a couple of good years, a little luck, and a lot of try, you can set yourself up for the rest of your life.
I'm glad to finally see it.
Right.
Rodeo athletes they can make something of that rodeo living instead of being a busted up, broke cowboy when they're done.
Right.
They use their heads right.
Yeah, they're athletes. They're not just somebody or entertainment. Yeah, they're athletes, and they better be, and it'll be worth it if they get serious about it.
The only working out I ever did, Jimbo, was seeing how fast I could sprint to the beer stand, grab a beer, then I'd go drink it, and then I'd do another sprint to the beer stand. So these guys today are a little bit different.
They look forward to that after they retire, and then they can get to telling them old stories. They get to go sprint to the beer stand and tell them old stories.
Well, Marvin, we sure appreciate you talking to us today. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day, I know, and showing us your pretty much museum you have here. It's just been a great day for us. What about you, Jimbo?
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, it's just a museum and a house, basically what I'd call it.
I've enjoyed the visit myself, Cody and Jimbo. It's been a great afternoon, guys.
Well, we're sure darn proud of the career you had. We're proud of the career that your family has had, and we're just proud to know you and just the type of guy you are, Marvin. You're a heck of a good guy, and you're a treasure for Oklahoma, and we're glad to talk to you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. This has been another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, being broadcast from right here in Henrietta, Oklahoma this week instead of Pawhuska. And we've been talking to Rodeo royalty today, Jimbo.
Sure have. Absolutely.
Thanks, Marvin.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Jimbo. We'll see everybody next week right here on the podcast.